I mean, unfortunately, it is not gonna be water lanes. Though, like I was hoping for it,
Oh,
but they did play that already, so it is gonna be dry Arabia. Um,
okay, still not.
so that's not gonna be that. But we see, like I found a draft. So Muhodo and Speedeor are going to play Ayyubids in English, and Gullideckle and Ezra are going to play Byzantines and Delhi. So
Ooh.
interesting. Yeah, okay, okay. I mean, it's Dry Arabia. You can play basically anything on that map, I guess. So doesn't.
Yeah, that's right because it's a very basic land map. But the thing is more about the exciting part or the interesting part, the combinations, what unit combinations they want to go for. I mean, Ayyubids English, I would say is very standard, or I would expect very kind of standard.
Yeah.
Ayyubids go first castle into lancers. No, they have the knight combination, the unit on the field, the mobile unit on the field, which deals quite a good and big damage. And English will go for what they can the best. Somehow boom maybe and go into longbow mass. And once they reach longbow mass, bots go out of the map and roll over everything. And Delhi and what was the other one?
Byzantines.
Byzantine. They don't have a nice knight potential early on. I mean, the Ghazis are fast and they do a bit more damage than horsemen, especially against heavy units. But I don't see a potential like accepted Byzantine is going fast castle into Gulp or Cataphracts or something like that. But I think Byzantine will have a little bit more um a little bit more difficult, or it's more difficult for them to do it like Ayyubid is doing. So the combination, I'm excited what the anti-hero combination will be here. Meanwhile, Muhodo and Speedo, it's very very obvious what they go for, but maybe they surprise us and they have a completely other idea.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. Maybe we're gonna see Growthwing into two to see Abbasid and Ayyubids and Fast
And a
Castle
fast castle
English.
English
I mean, I
into
don't.
White Tower, why not?
You know, like disclaimer. I don't think that that's gonna happen. But you never know. Like, uh, oh my, what? 4 minutes? Oh my goodness! Why are you doing this to me, guys? Okay, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think, as you said, like I think from Ayyubids and English side of point of things, it's gonna be kind of standard. Um, Delhi Byzantines, I think, is very interesting because you can go for the caching, and then you have caching and Ghazis running around your base, and you establish the map control. So could that could definitely be an avenue that they might be taking. Um, I heard from one of my friends that Byzantines like at least he most of the time plays it with the longbows. I always like basically always go for the Kashik because I'm a Mongol main and I do like the Kashik, and also it's the only like armored unit that you can go for with the Byzantines in feudal age, and so it just feels nice to have that option available to you. And then you have the mobility and all that. So there's a couple of good things about the Kashik, and so I do hope that we're gonna see that. Um, but I guess then it's just Delhi trying to go for the sacred sites, maybe going for a fast castle themselves as well. Um, but yeah, I mean, in terms of fast castle, I guess Ayyubids do it better. I don't know.
Yes. I so all just looking the civilizations and the combinations, and without thinking too deep about all the potential, I would say the combination Iobits English I like a bit more than the Byzantine Delhi combination.
Yeah.
And once we think about it a little bit deeper, sure, Byzantine can also go for the javelin throws, but
Mm.
there's a point, especially in team games, um, javelin throws are not that worth it against enemies longbow or archers because the micro is more intensive and the overkill facts.
Yeah.
And as Byzantines, there might be an early situation. There might be an early situation like we saw in the game before when Byzantine daily, and maybe we see something like this, do a feudal aggression play. Because daily is supposed to go feudal aggression, something like this. Especially because they want to keep their sacred sites safe, and once they bring the aggression to enemy space, the enemy is not competing the sacred sites. So it's rough. I would say it's a rough combination. So chat is saying you kind of want the camels from the chef contract in team games because Kev will always be played. Sure,
Yeah.
absolutely, it's a good one, and but even though you have to reach the point and then you have to produce the unit, and I think you are too slow according to Ayyubids.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I do agree with that point. And the thing is, the javelin throws are also very, very strong against the desert raiders. And so if
True.
Ayyubids is going for the desert raiders, you do have to counter the javelin throwers. And then like eventually you can move from javelin throwers into the camel archers, which again, yeah, um, debuffing the cavalry, which yeah, you are gonna see cavalry at some point, right? So that's definitely inevitably going to happen. Um, so yeah, I think in this situation, this is like, I think from like the three options that you have for the Byzantines, I think the javelin contract, like the it's called the Eastern one, I believe. The Eastern contract is the my least favorite one for sure. But I think this is one of the matchups or team game situations where it actually is a very, very valid choice. We do have two villagers this time on stone. I don't. I think he's gonna switch it over at some point. I don't think he is going to play. I'm really curious to see how that's going to be played out because I like the Byzantines. I've been maining them for a while now. So I'm always taking a good look at how people are playing this. So Gulideko playing the Byzantines in yellow, together with his mate Ezra123, playing the Delhi Sultanate in pink, versus Muhodo in blue playing the Ayyubids, together with Speedeor in green playing the English, opening mill, and then yeah, actually a couple farms. So yeah, is he looking for the full set? I guess, right?
Uh,
I mean,
might be. I
why
mean,
wouldn't
he's
you, right? At this point, like with the English, you have the cheaper farms. Why wouldn't you go for the full set if you like just commit to that, right?
yeah, but I, I didn't. I mean, the farm opening is well known, especially once through the time where the 2TC King meta wasn't settled or wasn't a thing. But this much of farms, do we see something like English feudal, not 2TC or something? There is a build, I know it's
Oh.
kind of a cheese build,
Yeah.
where you go full farm transition early on and just spam man at
Yeah,
arms,
yeah,
English
yeah.
man at arms in feudal.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
because he's going that heavy on farms, maybe we'll see something like
I
this.
Yeah, I was like, while you were talking, I was like, yeah, there was a cheese build, wasn't it? And yeah, we've seen it in Loido Legends tournament, twice I believe. Like one certain player was going for that, like basically every single time. Um, and it is super annoying to deal with on lower levels, just because like one you maybe don't scout it out, or even if you scouted it, like even if you scout the information, you may not necessarily know what's happening. Like sometimes you look at this like, I mean, yeah, he's on farms. Like, why wouldn't he? Like, that doesn't mean anything. Which no, like to the trained eye, that means something very specific. Um, and so I don't know. We could see that would be super fun. At the same time, it is a 1-2-1 right now. It's a best of three. This is the deciding match. I don't know if you want to risk it, because especially on higher levels, cheese builds can be very, very risky to pull off.
Yeah, but the thing with cheese build is, I mean, it sounds a bit funny, stupid, or awkward or whatever, but the thing with cheese build does not mean it's a stupid build or whatever. It just more means once you know what will come, it's way easier to handle. If you don't understand what is coming, it might be a kill.
Yeah.
Because you get overwhelmed somehow or something like this. But what also could be, because maybe food situation, I'm steering on a Speedeor Scout. He has 5 sheeps on the field. It might be an option that he wants to drop the sheep or support the sheep. Support with his found sheep, his Ayyubid mate. Meanwhile, his Ayyubid mate is pushing in the deer, tries to, but Ezra is there, sees it, and tries to interrupt it anytime. No, he's pushing the deer into his own base, so that's kind of interesting. Well, we needed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more minutes because now he's also Speedeor is going with 6 wills on food, aging up Abbey of King with 4, and no more farms yet. So we have to wait a little bit longer to figure out, because I'm not sure what how the transition was going for this man-at-arm build. Anyhow, we see a stable and desert raiders by Muhodo. And Muhodo is pushing in 3 deers already, so Scout stopped to interrupt by Ezra, or Ezra Scout stopped to interrupt. He stopped to interrupt, however. And these 350, oh, maybe 1 deer is dying. No, it's not dying. These 350, 900, 1.1 food, something around this, is quite a lot and helps definitely to go into a castle transition if you want to. And also helps for your feudal aggression if you wants to go for it. And definitely Muhodo wants to go for some kind of, maybe not feudal aggression, but interruption. Interruption, the Byzantine to go for his oil booming, cistern booming echo.
Yeah, so English opening with a stable, kind of cute. I don't know. I mean, it does make sense with the king to go for the horseman, but then you're just facing the Ghazi raiders, which, yeah, I mean, yeah, why not? I mean, you're fast. You can hunt them down. You don't get chased by them too much, and if you chill for a little bit, the king will heal up your units, and so it is kind of like doing what Delhi like to do, harassing, pulling off the low health units, heal them up again. Um, and Ezra already has a couple of Ghazi Raiders on the field, but doesn't right now want to commit too heavily against the king. If he could find a surround, that would be so much worse.
Oh yeah, that would be so much worse. But the feudal play as English with horsemen and Abbey of Kings is kind of known play also in the high level scene. Once before the Pro Scout meta was running, because in this meta English was not playing at all. But because of, as you mentioned, you both have the heal situation, like the Ghazi Raiders have heal, and you have for the Daily has heal for his Ghazi Raiders. The English guy has heal for his horsemen, but also the English guy has more mobility heal, I would say, because he don't need to go back into his base, but he's a little bit slower in production, and so on and so on. And the most important thing is, once you go horseman spear combination as English, you force your opponent to go into archers. So you are like in a anti-knight situation, if you wanna say it this way. So you have a counter to boss units. Meanwhile, the daily player just has a heavy counter to your spears, but not a heavy counter to your horsemen early on. So this is the kind of forcing what you force, what you do and what you force your enemy in what army combination, and it worked quite good on 1v1 games. I'm not sure if it's the same potential, has the same potential in 2v2, but here comes another thing. Muhodo went for Dervish, and the Dervish heal is strong. It's insane. Also with the Desert Raider, so not only the Horseman Spear combination is forcing Ezra into a unit combination, Archer, Ghazi Raider, something like this, maybe adding spears, whatever. But also the Desert Raider debuffs the Ghazi Raiders. So I like the combination and the gameplay. And now we see a huge fight around the sacred site here with the Limiter Knight coming in by Gulidekel. Also, he went for the longbow contract. So Ezra is not anymore not longer forced into to go into a ranged unit, something like this, because the Gulidekel is using it, and it looks like Ezra is fully committing into Ghazi Raiders. So he wants to go for the mobility unit fully.
Yeah, and it makes sense. I mean, for one, he has the mobility with that, and he will want to have that no matter what. And then also, I heard the argument once that it kind of feels bad not going for the Tower of Victory, but then going for Archer and Spearman, because you don't really benefit. Or no, and then going into Ghazis, that was the thing, because then you're like, I go for the Ghazis, but I don't benefit from the Tower of Victory at all. And so, like, since you're not going for that, yeah, just go for the Ghazi Raiders. You don't, yeah, doesn't make. I'm probably not making much sense right now, but it made sense at the time. Anyway, he was able to heal up the Ghazi Raiders, so he's at full health again and could actually contest now the Desert Raiders. Did lose a couple scouts here because of the pro scouting. And Muhodo in the meantime also did go for the classic Ayyubid fast castle play.
Is going into a trend. That's interesting. Kind of funny that Muhodo drops now to archery ranges. So Muhodo looks like he's going for the range transition, not English. Whether English is more known like he's going for the range play in team games. So quite opposite situation, but. I mean, why not? Let's go for it. What age up he went for? So he went for military. He's getting 3 Ghazi Raiders each couple minutes. Each 2 minutes, something like this. I think it's 2 minutes. Yeah, and they captured all 3 sacred sites. The one gets decapped by Speedeor pretty soon, pretty instantly. So. 2 are left, and relics gets contested now. A clash of blue and yellow units, so Limiter Knight and longbows versus Desert Raiders and archers. Lancers coming in, sacred site. Third one is back at home for Muhodo, and fourth one as well. So it looks like at least 4, maybe 5. Muhodo is getting pretty sure because Ezra is rushing up with 19 wills his age up, and he's waiting on 1 relic at the border, at the next to the south sacred site. But this Gelehrter, this
Scholar.
how they scholar. Thanks. This scholar is in a might be in big trouble. Archer next on the sacred side. So Muhodo did not spot this scholar, but once he's catching the sacred side, he has a very danger life there. Very
Yeah.
danger life.
Yeah, that Camel Lance, as soon as that relic gets picked up, might just go in there and chase it down. A monk from the Byzantines is going out here as well, trying to go for the relic here. Byzantines love to have the relics in the in the Grand Winery because it provides oil instead of gold, and that just feels very nice for the mercenary production. But yeah, I mean, Ayyubids, like Muhodo was able to get most of the relics by now, so that in and of itself is very strong. 2 sacred sites being decaptured, the third one is on the way, so that was just a very brief buff and bonus that the Delhi benefited from. And yeah, it's a interesting English composition here. It doesn't look that much English to me, you know, with the spearmen and the horsemen. But again, with the king, it does make sense. And the good thing, like the cool thing about team games, and I mean sometimes you do hate that as well, is that one player can specialize in a certain unit composition. It doesn't have to go for, like for example, for tri-comp or something. And so that's basically what is happening right now here with English, just going for horsemen and spearmen, and then Muhodo is going for ranged units. Speedeor needs to be a little bit careful here with the horseman. Was able to kill most of the archers, but there's a lot of Limitani here on the field, and that could be very ugly for the horsemen if they clash.
Yes, absolutely. But the horsemen are running back, and the king also has quite a good movement speed. I mean, he's not that much faster than a knight, but he's a bit faster. So the horsemen get not slowed down like they have running with in a group of knights. Meanwhile, Ezra is going and committing into knights, it looks like. I mean, he has 6 on the field. I don't know if he's staying on knights. He's also dropping some racks there. Looks like he wants to add some spears. So Ezra is going for the stable spear combination. Meanwhile, Speedeor is doing the same, and Muhodo obviously is going for the range part with the Desert Ranger and Desert Raider and the archers, also adding in some crossbows. Some lancers on the field, sure, he had the stables to produce the Desert Raiders before, so why not? And I like the idea, really, I really like the idea. So English is going for kind of frontline melee combination, and because of the king is always inside the group, if you manage to survive the king, his horsemen get instantly healed up once he's out of the fight long enough, and they need only a couple seconds. And I mean, because of Golden Age, wood is not that big of an issue, so why not? We often see Ayyubids going for good mass of backline archers, so quite different, but effectively. I like the idea. I like the idea they went for and the combinations, and we see that it pays off quite kind of, because it feels like Gully Dekel and Ezra, not that they fall behind in military or something like this, but they definitely don't have map control, which shown in numbers of relics for Muhodo, 7, so all of them in the relic, the sacred site situation, none of them captured by now just in between for a couple seconds, maybe a minute or something like this. It's a rough situation for Team Gulidekel and Ezra, definitely rough situation.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you look at the army that Delhi has, usually you would expect a lot more, but Ezra was bleeding a couple of Ghazi raiders when he was raiding. He did kill a couple villagers on the gold, so I would say that was worth it. But at the same time, if it comes to a straight up fight, Delhi is not as strong right now as it usually would be in this situation. I mean, given we're playing here for quite a while here, and no sacred sites. Like as I said, like they have been captured for like a minute or so, a couple minutes maybe. Um, no relics at all. I mean, Delhi also likes to have relics, obviously, and like, as I said, with the Byzantines, it feels nice to have them, just to have this additional bonus oil income. Um, and even though they did wall off here, Muhodo is still able to successfully raid constantly with the desert raiders or with the camel lancers in this case, uh, finding a couple villagers here and there and just distracting Gulidekel and Ezra from what they would like to do now. And it looks like Gulidekel is losing most of his front line here, getting caught off a little bit. And yeah, that's the issue with the slow-moving infantry units. You can't really retreat once you're getting jumped by all those horsemen, by the knights, the camel lancers, desert raiders. So tough position for Gulidekel, and I mean Ezra is raiding right now, but will lose most of those units, if not all of them. And we're back at a position that English has 2 town centers, so even if they lose a couple villagers, it doesn't matter as much to them.
I mean, in this case, we have to say it's not only a couple one. He dropped to its 43 villagers for and Ezra himself has 52 villagers. I think he took some damage because Gulidekel is second TC, okay. But 61 villagers by Muhodo, and Muhodo is dropping second TC just now, so he lost more than 20 villagers because he's on second TC since he hits Castle. And 20 villagers losing at minute 20 is quite big, even though you are on a second TC, because you first of all have to regain the villager count. But the thing what's more maybe part of an issue, yeah, he lost 20 vills, but also Ezra lost big numbers of Ghazi raiders, so sometimes it's kind of crazy. You do a big echo damage, but because you lost so many military units, somehow a snowball starts, and even though your opponent has a way worse economy, he's overrunning you because he has the higher military count. And now we see a push out by Ezra and Gulidekel. They both did manage nice and pretty well, and I was intended to say, even though they don't have any map control and they lost all 7 relics, I mean 7 relics for Ayyubids is painful, but anyhow, or whatever, Byzantine Echo on level 5 cistern with a settled oil economy, farms economy, is also very painful. And maybe we now see the pain coming into the English base because of all the echo damage and the settled Byzantine economy. The team is sitting in front of the base, and in the back, Ezra is capturing the sacred site. He dropped the keep in the center of the map, saving a tiny gold, big gold, and a stone vein. Also saving one of the sacred site, partial saving the second one. So what looked early on very, very dangerous for Ezra and Gulidekel might turn into another situation, but now the defense is starting. 2 mangonels shooting on the backline of Gulidekel, also the knights hitting into the backline, and the elephants fighting with English spears. And even though they are strong, you don't want to fight with this number of spears around your elephant, also with the mass of archers Muhodo has. And this attack might be cleared, not fully, but definitely defended. Reinforces regrouping around the sacred site next to the keep.
Yeah, I mean, there is a lot of eco damage for sure that Gullideckle and Ezra were able to put down here. But at the same time, now they're on the back foot. They did lose a lot of units, and the keep will provide them with some kind of safety, at least for the time being. But if they can't remass quickly, that's probably gonna be the end of it. Delhi has basically lost every single unit. Um, Gullideckle has mostly his longbows in place, a couple of Limitani here and there, but they're also getting cleaned up really fast by the Ayyubid archers, and so a little bit of a breathing room here for now, for the time being, and in the meantime, in the back, Ezra was able to capture the sacred sites again, so that is overall very valuable. Also, that wolf is oh my, just kill that, that wolf. Oh my goodness, okay. Okay, yeah. Speedeor was seeing that wolf and finally gets rid of that, but he did lose a villager against the wolf.
Yeah. And at least now we are in a situation that sacrificing all those Ghazis into doing echo damage to the English player pays off. Not only the English player was delayed in his echo, he's now up to 67 villagers with 2 TC. Meanwhile, Gullideckle has a second TC and is up to 87 villagers. Also, the sacred sites just ticking. And yeah, they paid a lot, losing quite of in resource-intensive units, expensive units like these 3 elephants. I think it were 3 elephants.
Yeah.
But I mean, the Byzantine army is remixed already again. He's on 200 pop, 130 military on the field. So sometimes it happened to me as well as a Byzantine that I have a castle transition and I'm maxed and I look to my echo and think, fuck, I have way too less eco. Once I lose any fight, I can't rebuild because my echo is way too weak. It happens so fast. What I did not realize when, but the English guy lost all his knights and horsemen. He has 3 knights left, now 2 knights left. So the full mobility factor by the English army gets mauled down. He's now rebuilding knights, but knights are kind of expensive. He needs time to do it. And as I mentioned, his echo is not that much stronger. It's not stronger, it's weaker than the Byzantine echo because of the less villagers. So not the worst spot for Gullideckle and Ezra here, doing kind of a good transition and fighting back once the early game looks so kind of slow, maybe bad, especially according to the relic situation. And Gullideckle is doing very, very nice, smart moves now, using some Limitanai and longbows, sacrificing him into the south of the map, just distracting Muhodo, idling his echo. Meanwhile, he's fighting in the middle of the map around the keep, and the game plan is still the same. Ezra is going for the stable units, for the mobility units, and Gullideckle is committing full into infantry.
Yeah, and it makes sense. I mean, the good thing about that approach is also you're saving a ton of resources if you don't have to click every single upgrade, but just the one upgrade that you need, the 1 or 2 upgrades that you need for the one unit type that you're going for. They have been pushed back from the middle, so losing access to the stone and to the gold. But at the same time, Gullideckle was transitioning to Imperial Age, and so once the upgrades are kicking in, he has a lot of units. So if you think this is Imperial Age, that is very, very strong, and that should be able to deal with. Yeah, with anything, I would say that the opponents that Muhodo and Speedeor currently are having.
But he's still lacking a bit of gold to upgrade all, to use or to go for all his important Imperial upgrades. I think he clicks first Limitanite, so Limitanite are already elite, but all the rest of his army is still in castle because of lagging gold. And not only that, we missed something. The green bubbles points on the map in the back of the base of Gully and Ezra. Ezra dropped down to 49 villagers because of those knights together with the king, and I missed them completely. So the king is not dead. He was roaming with it and losing the keep in the middle of the map. He also lost his kind of second TC ability. Yeah, it's already tech, but losing the keep, I mean, he needs to get a stone again to drop another one. He dropped the keep now around his farms, but he has to rebuild his economy. And losing down to 49, even though he had the sacred sites for just a couple minutes, 3, 2, 4, something like this, and we know Deli gets additional gold by holding or keeping a sacred site. I'm not sure if this is enough to support Gully in straight up fight. So Gully now for a while has to keep or to carry a lot, and also Gully is losing a shit ton of villagers on the big gold here. It's dropping now to 62. He has to be very careful that he's not blocking himself more and more by building military and not building any more worlds, because sometimes in those situations it happens more in regulars with echo units, I would say, that you queue and queue and queue and you miss the point to stop, and then you reach the point of 150, 160 and you wonder, god damn hell, why I lose to these armies, why I can't rebuild, why I have so less army. Yeah, because you blocked yourself. And I think with Byzantine you can come very fast in somehow this situation, so he has to be careful that he leaves some space to rebuild his echo.
Yeah, absolutely. And like the gold, the villages that he lost there, I mean, that was really brutal to watch, and it can happen so quickly. You're getting notifications all over the map, and then that happens. Berkshire Palace was about to be dropped here in the front of the English base, but Speedeor pulls away, and Muhodo just went imp, so this definitely is the time that they want to pull the trigger now, try to get rid of the English cavalry here. Longbows are on the run right now. There's not a whole lot of Limitani left. They're just chasing behind them. And oh, this is so bad. Like basically, like Ezra cannot really commit against all these spears, and all these longbows cannot really commit against the king and the horsemen. So a good split here from Speedeor, you know, focusing both those kind of units that he can actually counter really nicely. Berkshire Palace now being dropped a little bit more forward.
Second attempt
This time. It should be successful. And then we're having all of them Imperial Age except for Delhi, which, especially as Delhi, this feels really bad because it takes forever to, like, okay, not forever obviously, but like it takes a while to get all your upgrades. You get them for free, that's nice, but it does take a while, and if he's the last one that at some point, he's way off right now from Imperial Age. Eventually he might reach Imperial Age, and then it takes him another 5 or 10 minutes to truly be Imperial Age, and this is not looking good. There's so many archers and ranged units from the Ayyubids, the Manjanique are very dangerous for all those infantry units, and Gully right now is just trickling in units, and they're just dying one by one. I mean, he's streaming a healthy amount of units, but that's not gonna work. A lot of Landsknechts, but I don't think that will... if they could connect to this ball, that would be nice, but doesn't look like they can.
I mean, Gully tries to be everywhere, and he kind of have to. because of the overall situation. Both of their opponents are in Imperial, so team-wise, Speedeor and Muhodo has a tech advantage, and Gulidekel tries to split some smaller number of units, so like 10 here in the Echo, there in the Echo, trying to disrupt the farms, trying to disrupt the food income by Muhodo. But on the other side, I mean, Muhodo has 6k food in the bank, only 35 wills on food. That's not. Muhodo has 68 villagers on the field, 92 by Speedeor, 71. So Muhodo has less villagers than Ezra has, and 83 by Gulidekel. So overall, Echo villager count is more healthy for Gulidekel and Ezra, but as we said, Muhodo has 7 relics in the bank, in his mosque. So quite a good for 80 and 80 540 gold income per minute because of the relics. That's huge. And once Ezra, he's lagging of gold to get any opportunity to come into Imperial. It looks like. I mean, he has 2k, a bit more food income, but only 700 gold income, and he wants to produce units, and he's kind of addicted to gold units to catch up or whatever. So not only the time, also the resource situation, the eco situation looks not that good, that Ezra has any time the chance to catch to go into. Wait a minute, he just.
Yeah, he
I
was.
missed it.
Yeah, he was clicking up like for a while with 11 villagers. So it did take a while. He was stopped, like he had basically stopped producing units for a while, and then went Imperial Age, and now is trying to catch up again. But I mean, as I said, like this is gonna take a while. If like, okay, right now he doesn't even have time to click on the upgrades. But even if he does, it's like another 4 or 5 minutes at least for those upgrades. I mean, if you look at this takes a while. He has 2 blacksmiths, so that definitely helps. But yeah, I mean, okay. To look at the bright side, with the exception of the relics for Ayyubids, it is gonna be better and better the longer the game goes for Delhi, because at some point, like up to a certain point, at some point you do have all the upgrades, and then you're the strongest point, and then it comes down to who then has what. Okay, I was so confused. What is it doing with the longbows here?
What do you mean? Sorry, I was a little bit distracted by the imp landmark Ezra ran for, because it's. I expected the elephant landmark, but he goes for the food landmark. I mean, 500 food. I would like to know if he decided to go intentionally, because he never was interested in the elephant landmark and the 3-unit landmark, or did he decide to go for it because of his echo situation overall? Yeah, however, we might never figure out. Just a push by Muhodo into, or push attempt by Muhodo into Gulidekel's base, get cleaned up completely. It looks like spears of English also moving to Gulidekel's base to support here and there, but cleaned up by longbows, and now the first Streltsies are on the field. And I mean, we all know who plays Rus. There's one thing we hate the most, and this is a Streltsy siege combination.
Oh yes.
And somehow, in a way, in a kind of whatever, Byzantine, with the contract they went for, can do something like the same if they be very careful with their unique units. But action everywhere on the map. Now the next raid coming in by Speedeor tries to go with some knights into the base of Gulidekel, and villagers are running. So action everywhere, and they know we don't. The game is over when someone is dead and not injured or damaged. He has to be dead.
Yeah.
It looks like.
Yeah, definitely a very high octane game here. Knights currently on the run, not doing a whole lot except for idle time and distraction, but that's the thing, you need to to react to that, and then Muhodo has the option with his horsemen to go into the Delhi base and do the same thing as well. All the desert raiders being super difficult to deal with right now. They're quite tanky by now, so you know at the beginning they're not super strong, but they're getting really strong in the Imperial Age, especially if you go for the Arabex, then they get really strong. But
And he did.
even without that, they would be good, very good as well. To keep securing the villagers for now. But yeah, horsemen on the right side, desert raiders on the left side. Do Gulidekl and Ezra have the numbers to contest that? They're slowly rebuilding their units. A lot of lancers on Delhi's side. And I feel like I mean, I wish Gulidekl could go into some more expensive units, but he doesn't have the resources right now. Ezra, on the other hand, floating 5k food, but can't really spend them right now. Doesn't have the gold, doesn't have too much wood left. So might die with a very full stomach.
Yeah, and now the army combination, or now the early on decision, even though a transition is possible, but you have to invest some resources. If you did not do it in between, like barracks tech, stable techs, horsemen into imp, whatever, the early on decision pays off better now for Speedeor and Muhodo because they don't lack of mobility. Muhodo has the Desert Raiders. He rent a castle for the Desert Raider as for the military wing, so he definitely takes his Desert Raiders. Desert Raiders are a mobile unit. English already went for stables and feudal and committed into stables and castles, so obviously he wants to commit into Imperial as well. And behind all of those raids, they are hitting now the echo of Gulidekl and Ezra. And Gulidekl decided to go for infantry combination, and he is following kind of the army combination, so he's not getting track or rip of all those raids because of the mobility, the lack of mobility by himself. English is going for man-at-arms transition, and we know what's the most disgusting gameplay in late game. It's English man-at-arms fully teched.
Is that the most like I was under
Not not the most one, but in this situation here, I mean they are heavy, they are tanky.
Yeah,
It's
no.
very disgusting to play against it, especially with the English farm situation.
I mean, yeah,
Pass of gold, stuff like
it
this.
is very disgusting to play against him. I mean, I was just kidding, but there are some very annoying strategies to play against, and the English chat at arms, they're surely up at the top. Ezra trying to go for a raid here, killing a lot of villagers as well, but needs to also kind of clean up his own house here. Mosque getting destroyed, Dome of the Fate actually getting torched by the horsemen as well. Couple of lone desert raiders in the back slowly getting cleaned up, but there's a lot of them left on the left side still. You know, I wish we would have like the good observer UI, because I would love to see how many villagers died over the whole game.
Oh yeah.
And with that, Ezra and Gulidekl need to tap out.
Yeah, and as I said a couple minutes before, I think in the end, maybe also the Radic situation, yeah, but Ezra and Gulidekl in mid game to transition to Imperial was in a kind of nice spot. They fought back, could gain some map control, save some resources, did some nice echo damage to Muhodo in the end. he lost a couple wills. He went down. Wait, did I see it right? Was he? Yeah, he went down below Ezra at one point and had to catch up again. So they managed that quite well. But in the end, the mobility fact by Muhodo and Speedeor, I wouldn't say skill-wise or whatever. The mobility fact difference was so huge that Muhodo and Speedeor managed to go into the Echo more mobile units, bring into the Echo more mobile units, and especially Gully Deckle had, it felt like, no chance to catch up with all those raids because of movement speed. And this was in the end the game decision situation, because in straight up fights, Boss did very well. It was always forward, backward, forward, backward.